So where do we go with EPA from here? I'm actually having this week, probably right after this, will be John Lund.
Okay.
Who's in a similar boat as you. He doesn't talk about it a whole lot anymore because I think a lot of people, when they haven't heard anybody get hit in a while, they, you kind of like stay in your cave a little bit and
that's
make not much noise.
That's what we need to not do, but it's definitely scary when they throw the numbers at you, because that's what it is. It's a lot of fear, and they pick us off one by one. That's what they're gonna do. That's. Ugh.
You would know. I mean, do you feel like they're going top down or bottom up? Like, because you're the bottom, and then there's like big companies. Are they starting at the bottom and then?
Well, that's where I always say the big companies got to see what's going on down here, and they better jump in, or they're not going to have anything. Who's going to buy it? Who's going to maintain it? Who's going to be the support? We're all of that for all these companies. Mm-hmm. They need to understand that. A lot of your customer service doesn't happen because we're doing it on our end and really making the parts work and stuff happen. And if that's gone, then it's down the line.
Well, the RPM Act was like a big thing for a while. People talked about.
Yep.
I never fully liked that. I didn't like the wording in that. It said anything with a VIN number couldn't be modified.
Yeah, because that
was what SEMA and PRI put out. That was like, this is our fix. And it was like, if it has a VIN number from factory, you can't modify it. And I was like, well, that hurts that hurts 98% of car guys.
Yep.
I never really supported that act.
Yeah, and that was the only thing that would, I think that was the only thing they were trying to get their foot in the door with. And
it was already giving up so much.
Yeah, because the wording of the Clean Air Act, like if we have a license plate on that thing, it ain't legal to touch. It ain't legal to do anything to. I mean, that is the wording. When you really look at how they said this stuff, that's what we didn't know how far deep it went until you look. I mean, it's changing. Anything that changes the injector millisecond is deemed not legal. So you putting an air filter on, which requires the ECU to give it more millisecond, well, there you go.
And this is easy. Federal. This is like
this is federal. So a lot of people say, my stuff's CARB approved, which they pour a lot of money in. Well, that's good in California. Mm-hmm. That's like the weed in Colorado's legal, but not federally.
Yep.
So it's, I see a lot of tuner stuff that says 49 state legal, and I'm like, how? Somebody tell me how this is happening. I see these ads, and I commented on one company's thing, and I'm like, how are you doing this, and how are the dealers going to be protected? I never heard back, but, I'm like, some of those things, I'm the one that got hit, and I'm like, you gotta tell us how this is going to happen, because when they come on our door, how do we stand up for you? And obviously you didn't for us, so.
Yeah, it kind of needs to go both ways.
Yeah.
They need to help you out a little bit because you're the only one selling
their products. At least give us the legal information that's protecting you, or is it, there's a list of dealers coming from you.
It's a lot of head in the sand stuff in a lot of this. And I can't believe the number of car guys I talk to that don't know what's going on.
Oh, no, they don't. And
tuners, too.
Until they get hit, because I was one of those guys. Out of sight, out of mind. I'm in my own lane, doing my thing, and then it comes knocking on your door, and then you're like, what?
Well, I think what happened was the diesel community got hit, and half of the car guys that I know were like, oh, good, screw those guys.
Yeah,
and the people that understood were like, no, like, this is bad. Like, just, like, yes, rolling coal is stupid, but, like, you shouldn't arrest them for it.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't become like this federal crime where people are sitting in jail because of it.
Yeah, and some people have faced a lot of jail time, a lot of huge fines. Yeah. I mean, there's famous people I know that are dealing with it that don't talk about it. And it's like, man, you guys, I don't understand why you don't. Like, I guess you got stuff to protect, but I'm just in a unique position, where my kids are older, my stuff's paid for. You want to beat me up, but I'm still going to be here swinging. And
you have a following.
I have a following, I have a voice, and if I can use that to make people aware, that's what I'm going to do. And if that's my place, then that's my part in this industry, then here I am.
Yeah, I mean, I've talked to pretty much everybody that's been hit that are outspoken about it. Corey is a huge one about it.
Corey's awesome.
He's super outspoken.
Yep.
JH got hit, but he's not, he's got a business to run.
Yep.
He's not trying to just...
Yeah, and he's trying to stay in his lane and do the right thing.
Yeah.
I appreciate JH, though. He got me in touch with the right lawyer that knew and understood this stuff. And that guy's helped me a lot. It has not been anything cheap, but it's like...
Guess that makes up for when he ran you off the racetrack.
Yeah. We got a rivalry going. I'm working on this rivalry. I love the guy.
Yeah.
But
there's got to be rivalries.
And there has to be. So.
And then Jay from Ignite is huge advocate in all this world.
Jay's been awesome.
On the farmer side of things, too.
Yeah.
Which is completely similar, but...
Yeah,
different.
and that's what it's going to take, getting all the industries together. I hope everybody's watching. Get all these industries together with all the right minds. We need a think tank. We need to think like them because they are thinking every day and we are paying them to do so. So they are fighting us with our money and they're kicking our butts. And none of us even know how deep the rabbit hole goes. Yeah. I mean, and if we don't get a game plan and we don't stand up and start figuring it out pretty soon, I don't know how soon, but if you get sucked into those holes, it's a whole nother sad deal, but something needs to happen. Jay from Ignite is one of those guys that knows how to work around those people and is a wealth of knowledge. And I have tried to put him in front of the right people at PRI and SEMA. And I wish they would take his advice and actually get with him and figure it out. Because I've talked to the biggest dudes there is. I know what's going on at PRI. You know what I mean? I've worked with those guys a lot. And I believe in what they're trying to do. But they need real muscle behind them too, and they need to kind of change that focus on their end too. I mean, they're fighting a battle I don't think they can win right now, not on their own. They need us all in a different way. They're trying to do it with memberships and this. And I agree they need to do that because they need to make the money to get the lobbyists and to work that side because Washington is about money, all money. The ethanol industry got their ass kicked and spent like $15 million on lobbyists or something. And we need a lot more than that. And we are such a small community. Back in the day, being American and being a community, you had a voice. Well, now the voice is cash. And that's unfortunate, but that is what it is. And until something can really get changed on that end, I'm sure a bunch of people are going to jump in your comments and be like, oh, well, you got to vote this way. We definitely got to get the right people, but we got to get some bright folks that think in that world and aren't about the cash or who I can help for what and polish what. But we need some people with integrity, right? Integrity just comes back into everything.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of what it comes down to is that. And Turn 14's doing a really good job at a lot of stuff. They're fighting a different fight than SEMA. Yeah, and they have a lot invested in it. Yeah. They're a big company. They have a lot of money on the line to. That's what it really comes down to, like money. And the big companies that have a lot of money,
and that's the other
are who we need.
The other one that could actually change the whole game for the entire thing is eBay. eBay's hit with what, $2 billion fine?
Yeah.
If they took the $2 billion and we used that money to fight them instead.
Yep.
Pay the fine or just fight them with paperwork, fight them with everything we got, and come collective with us. I mean, stand with us. I think they could really make something happen.
Yeah, if they stood with car guys.
If they stood with the car guys and said, hey, we're protecting the people selling for us, and we don't think you're in the right. And actually get some real people, real scientists and real people. Let's get some real arguments going with this climate change. Not an agenda. Let's get some facts going on why the world is getting warmer or cooler or whatever it's going to do. And let's see what the racing community, how much of an effect on it we really have or what we're really doing. All of us we want to burn clean fuels. We want the cars as efficient as possible. We want them clean because that makes power. The hard parts in the engine don't care what we're burning. They don't care. They'll put out whatever we decide to burn. And most of the time, if it's a pump gas is junk. And it's the same people selling us the pump gas and saying it's pollutant, right? Well, give us cleaner stuff. Mm-hmm. That's where
My car pretty much never runs. How bad could it be?
That's what I mean. Most of these cars sit on jack stands and then come out a weekend. A lot of people spend all their time it's like you buy a puzzle, you want to build that puzzle, you want to make it your own, you want to, you're going to frame it, put it on the wall, you just did this great job. Well, a car can be that for a lot of people. It's our hobby, it's what we enjoy, it's what we love to do. We love our masterpiece. Some will hit the road sometimes and some will sit. But it should be our choice to do what we want. I mean,
also,
I'm into freedom.
I would like to attack OEM because I feel they have fully abandoned us.
Yeah.
I hoped there was probably about 4 years ago, I hoped OEM would be the savior, but like GM has completely just dropped all thoughts of like people modifying their cars.
Yep.
Once they came out with Global B, it was over. Like they are pushing. I know they're unlocking the ECUs now for these cars, but it's not. I don't think it's what we think it's going to be.
No.
And the people that are going to get them are going to be very select. And you're in this database of they know what you did.
Yep. I'm sure they're going to be able to just pull out whatever you are whenever they feel like it. Be able to just remotely jump into the ECU whenever. If it's near Wi-Fi, it's not going to be that big a deal anymore.
I feel pretty abandoned by OEM.
Yeah.
I was hoping they would
help. And the guy that started this whole EPA deal, Evan Belzer.
I thought you were going to say Al Gore.
No, Elvin. I'm the EPA attack on the performance industry. Evan Belzer, he's now at Ford.
Oh,
interesting.
Yeah.
Right. He left the EPA and now he's at Ford, but he's the one that my case started with and all that stuff.
So he's not even overseeing your case at all anymore.
No, he's not there.
So now
he's at Ford.
Did they hire him, you think, so that he would stop sending out these? So he would stop his vendetta.
Either that or the vendettas at Ford. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know.
That is interesting. I'll have to look into that a little more. Huh.
I thought it was fascinating when I heard, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
Because I try to keep tracks on what's going on over there too. Because like I said, they're always at work. You may not think they are, but I go to events and I have owners come up to me and say, "Hey, I got that letter. What do I do?" Man,
yeah,
I tell them flat out, I close the doors, do something.
I think
easy.
It's public knowledge. Mike Vargas, he posted his.
Yeah,
he got that letter, and
he hit me up right away too when he got it. And
not even the Doritos are safe.
Not even the Doritos are safe. And I told him, you got to keep this stuff off the road, man.
Those things run clean too.
Yeah.
You see one of those pull up at the track, she's running right.
They don't burn any oil.
But is burning oil really that bad? I mean,
No, it's fine. I'm not worried.
I'm like, geez.
I just think it's crazy it's even such a big conversation. It's like, I feel like there's so many, I'm sure it's already been said, but just like all the air travel, freaking SpaceX blasted in 16 million pounds of thrust into,
ships.
Like all like stuff going on, and they're focused on this small minority.
Well, and the thing, not just the minority, but the guy that's, he puts all his money into this because that's what's keeping him sane. That's what's keeping his mind right.
That's a lot of hardworking guys. Like, this is their passion. This is what,
fuels them.
Yeah, this is just what keeps us going, keeps us happy. There's probably a lot of guys that are into performance cars and they work, labor jobs that keep society up and running. You take that away from us, and it's just, I don't think it's good.
Well, it also comes into the Right to Repair Act, which is they almost go hand in hand.
They go, all of it goes hand in hand.
Because a lot of like states are like making this thing like right to repair where your phone breaks, Apple has to legally sell you parts to fix it.
Thank God.
And it's kind of the same with a car. If your car breaks, you need to be able to fix it. And sometimes to fix a car, you have to get into the ECU.
Yeah.
And sometimes if your car is broken, it may need injectors that are easier to get from, FIC or something, and put those in instead. So it's kind of similar where it goes hand in hand with right to repair in a lot of ways.
Well, we should be able to make our stuff better. You should be able to make it, I got this car, it makes 30 miles per gallon. Well, I want to make 40. Mm-hmm. Or go the opposite way. Whatever. It's your stuff. It's yours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my biggest problem. It's yours.
Yeah, you own it, and it's just, I just feel like if this stuff is so good with like pushing electric and all this, it's just, I would think it would make more sense for them just to let things naturally phase out.
Yeah.
Like, at least let us do our thing, and if that becomes, the more mainstream form of travel, then, build new laws and stuff around that, but find a way to protect what's already out there and just don't like put a big stop on everything. Like, nope, all this stuff that's been out for the last 100 years, we're done. Yeah. We're flipping a switch this year.
It makes the young guys coming up not be able to learn. I mean, if you don't, like, I mean, I tell guys all the time, they're like, how did you learn to do what you do? I was like, you want to learn, build a car. That thing will teach you everything you ever want to know. Learn a ton of skills, but, it's almost better education than an automotive trade school is to build a little race car and learn how to manage it.
Get something cheap.
Yeah.
And get it running. Get somebody's project.
Yeah.
That I always advocate for. Buy somebody else's project and start unraveling stuff.
Yeah.
You learn real quick too.
You learn real quick.
And that's fun also. It's kind of an enjoyable thing to unravel like a
Oh yeah. The first couple of days of taking things apart are always like, oh, this is interesting.
Yeah, there's a fun to that. So speaking of burning rubber, guys, thank you for tuning in to the Bogetti Clips YouTube channel. For the full podcast, check us out on Bogetti Studios YouTube and all your audio platforms. Also, hit that subscribe button to not miss out on any of the new Bogetti clips coming up.